I greet you all, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys. Welcome to yet another episode of the Ugandan Podcast. Today we have an amazing topic that we're going to get into, one that we all like, the young, the old, and it is the creative industry of Uganda and Africa and the world at large. And to get into this topic with us, we definitely have our one lovely Joan Semanda Kizza, Public Relations and Communications Manager for Multichoice.
Hello.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Finally
Thank you for having me.
Finally, you're here.
Finally, I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah, so to find out more about Joan, you're going to have to go to Google. But for everything that you're going to find out now, you're finding it out on the Ugandan Podcast. And before we go any further, it was nice seeing you at the Multi-choice Media Showcase. Mm-hmm. How was it?
It went really well.
Yeah.
It was what we do with the showcase, it gives us a chance to show the Ugandan public and the public all over the world what we've done in the business since the last showcase. The last showcase was in September last year.
Okay.
And we also give them a bit of a sneak peek of what's coming. So we had some interesting discussions. There's a lot of stuff that was unveiled, which I hope to have a chance to get into here. But overall, it went very well.
Yeah. Actually, what stood out for me in all the things in your presentation that day was you talk about piracy. But let's not go there yet. Yeah. Our conversation is just getting started, and I want to start with my very first question. Joan, growing up around 2000 something, I won't mention because then they'll start counting my years, but MultiChoice was equivalent to DSTV. If you had DSTV, you literally had MultiChoice everywhere.
That's right, yeah.
But over the time, it has expanded into so many things, Go TV and others. How do you feel about being part of this movement, and what differences have you seen since then?
So, Brandy, it's a great thing to see a company evolve the way that ours has. You're right. The first product or service that we brought to Uganda was DSTV. And then after launching DSTV, we noticed that there were many questions coming in from potential customers. And the questions were around price. They were around affordability. Yeah. So we looked into the option to bring Go TV into Uganda. Okay. Go TV came into Uganda, and it's a DTT platform, which is a digital terrestrial TV broadcasting service. Okay. So Go TV then launched, and I think this year it's been 11 years since we launched Go TV in Uganda. So imagine it's been that much time already.
Well done.
Well done. But then since we've also launched many other solutions for our customers, things like Showmax. Showmax is an online TV viewing platform. Similar to many of the TV platforms that you see around the world. And Showmax came as a solution to questions around affordability once again, but also from observing that our customers had different viewing habits. So a lot of you now watch TV, and at the same time while you're watching TV, you're either scrolling through social media, or you would like to sit down, watch one episode of House of the Dragon from beginning up to the end, right?
Yes. So
we wanted to present the option for our customers to have Showmax as an option. But that's not the only thing. I mean, we have apps. We have the DSTV and Go TV apps, which give you the ability to go in, fix your errors, upgrade your account, downgrade. Yeah. So there's a lot of on-the-move thinking and innovation and introduction that we're doing in Uganda. And so far, the feedback coming from the customers is that they appreciate that we're listening to what their needs are.
I agree. I actually also do appreciate, because I know that some channels will appear on DSTV and they won't be on Go TV, but either way, you're still going to have enough coverage across all the platforms.
Yeah.
Yeah. So also, while we were at the showcase, someone said, MultiChoice is equivalent to multi for opportunities. What opportunities have you been able to present to the Ugandan industry that is into edutainment, entertainment, and content?
That's a good question, Brandy. So we have a platform called the Multichoice Talent Factory.
Yes.
What that is it's a training opportunity, and we look out for students who still maybe in university or coming out of university but are interested in film. What they need, the most important thing that they need to show us is that they're passionate about film. We take them through an interview process. We select the 4 best students. We carry them. We take them to Nairobi for a 1-year rigorous training in film. And we cover all aspects of film, sound, post-production,
lighting,
being a producer, being a director, lighting. And we also look out for people who have niche interests because there's so many producers and directors in Uganda.
Absolutely.
There are such few sound people. And we look into the market. So I'll tell you that when we launched some of the shows that you see on your TV now, Sanyo and Prestige, we made the call for the shows just before the COVID-19 pandemic hit. And when the pandemic hit, we noted that some of the key people that we needed on the sets were moving from one set to the other. So it showed us a gap here in Uganda. And at that point, we identified that there are certain parts of the film industry that we need to be very intentional in growing. But taking you back a little bit more to Multichoice Talent Factory. So aside from those 4 students who we train, which is great, we also do what is called masterclasses. Those masterclasses happen online. Sometimes we fly in trainers. We sit people down in a room. We work in partnership with people like the UCC. And what
the Uganda
we do...
Communications Commission.
Yes, the Uganda Communications Commission. And what we do is we have a trainer come in from Dolby Sounds or New York Film Academy, whatever it is that we feel like we need to cover. Yeah. We train these students. We give them certification. They go away with it kind of in their bank, right? Yes. Along with the Uganda Communications Commission in the just concluded Uganda Film Festival, we put our heads together and one of our Multichoice Talent Factory alumni, her name is Sisina Lumansi, we went around the country with her. The UCC wanted to show some of the outstanding films that had been in the Uganda Film Festival the year before to the regional audience, the people who could not have managed to be in Kampala to watch those films, so that they can see and they appreciate what is coming out of the film industry, but also to encourage them to come and take part. Yes. But we saw it as an opportunity to take some of the skills out of our talent factory, Sisi being, and Sisi has since, she now trains as a student in, I beg your pardon, she now trains as a teacher in film in some of the prominent universities in Uganda.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah, so what we did was we did a training on how to shoot on your smartphone for students who showed interest. And across the country, we covered 150 students within that time period. I think it was 3 months. So we're being very intentional in making sure that not just are we giving you content on your TVs, but we are improving the film industry coming out of Uganda. Yeah. And that is for the content creators, for them to grow and to build themselves. It is in our best interest that there's growth within the film industry and the content industry in Uganda. Yeah.
I also see that you guys are creating employment opportunities during the ads that run on TV. I know there are guys who do the installations.
Yeah.
And which leads me to my next question. You'll find that most of the time, correct me if I'm wrong, but the coverage is within like a particular region. Like you'll find the central is highly dominated, and then people out of town will have like radios or even, I'm not even certain sometimes what they're using. But how are you as MultiChoice breaking into the rural areas?
Into the rural areas. So, first and foremost, for the people who are in the rural areas, we make sure that our pricing is affordable across the board, right? Okay. So if you're on GoTV and for you in your wallet, you have 14,000 shillings, but you want to access content, you want to see the news, there's certain programs you want to watch, you can do that. Yes. On Showmax Mobile, for 11,499 shillings, you can access content. On DSTV, across the board, we're really doing everything we can to bring our price down and make it as affordable as possible. But across Uganda, what we've done is we've identified the key areas within which we need to place our masts, so that those people where they are can access, TV and the content that they would like to watch.
You've decentralized.
Yes.
Okay.
At the same time, on a DSTV front, there's a solution that we are working on, and you will see it roll out over the next few months. I don't want to preempt it today.
Okay, you don't want to launch it on our podcast, no?
Yeah, we could say that.
Okay.
But we definitely are thinking into people who are outside of the concentrated areas of Uganda, because we know that those are people that, regardless of where they are in the country, or what they can afford, we know that they still are interested in watching this content.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because inclusion is important for everyone.
Very, very.
That's so true. Now, one more question. What partnerships have made it possible to do all the work you do as MultiChoice?
That's a good question. So we have both local and international partnerships. Local partnerships are with all the key organizations that we work with. A partnership like the one we have with the Ministry of ICT is key, because they oversee us as the film body. But to the extent that, they've asked us certain questions around how we go about our business, and taken enough interest to come all the way to our MultiChoice office. And we hosted them in May or March this year. We hosted the ICT committee, and there were many questions around the business which we responded to. We have partnerships with the Uganda Communications Commission, especially within the realm of film. We have very key relationships with the film industry makers as individuals, because for us it's really important that a filmmaker feels comfortable enough to approach us. Yes, there's a process, and I hope to get into it a bit later. Yes, there's a process about how content is uploaded and how we review our content, but the relationships on the ground are important, because we are the faces that they see. But aside from on a local level, we have partnerships with companies like HBO, which gives us the ability to, when House of the Dragons streams, or when it airs in the US, within hours it is here in Uganda, and if you have an Explorer decoder, it's already downloaded on there for you.
Isn't that how we all watched Game of Thrones?
Yes, absolutely. So it's the same thing. And the partnership we have with HBO, the partnership we have with TLC, with all these different key bodies, the partnerships that we have with bodies like Supersport, who give us, it gives us a lot of mileage as MultiChoice Uganda, both on our DSTV and GoTV platforms. But, many times we have exclusivity to content, which means that a customer would know and would trust us, knowing that if I want to catch the Man U and Arsenal game, where Arsenal might lose terribly.
Arsenal lost terribly, but it's okay.
No, but for a customer to know that as long as my DSTV is paid, I know that I'll be able to catch that match. So all those partnerships are really important in just helping us as a business.
Yeah, just because you said Arsenal lost terribly doesn't mean that Manchester guys should start hitting their chest like King Kong. But moving on. Again, still, earlier this year, you did the recruitment of the 4 students. How far has that gone? Have you been able to reach the final process? Have you gotten your final take?
So there's So first and foremost, what we do is we ask people to go into our Multichoice Talent Factory portal. Which portal, by the way, if you're a filmmaker and you're interested in partnering with someone who's sitting in Zambia, you have a certain skill set and they might be looking for someone with that skill set to work remotely, to say do post-edit or things like that, you can voicing. You can definitely do that. But what we do is we take all those submissions, we sieve them through, right? Who are the strongest candidates? Who do we think that is going to represent Uganda the best? Then we call them in for an interview. When we call them in for an interview, we normally call about 10 or so students, and out of those 10, what we're looking for 4 students overall. Okay. Now, where we are right now, they have finished the interview process, but they still need to do what we call psychometric tests.
Psycho what?
Psychometric tests.
Okay.
Because for us, it's really important that the people that come into our organization are the right fit. And I think you would know this because working in the content industry or working in the film, TV industry, there's a certain personality, natural spark that you need to have. And so once we've concluded with the psychometric test process, then we will make our announcement, and we expect that within the next few weeks we will have announced. Why? Because we have the graduation coming up for the students who are in the academy right now. That graduation is actually on the 12th of October.
Yeah, that reminds me. Yeah, that reminds me. Even during the showcase, you kept calling these people by name. We have so and so and so and so and so and so. And I was like, Joan is so busy. How does she even know these people by name?
Yeah.
How would you?
I mean, if you think about it, at the moment, with the graduates who we're just about to finish with in October, we have 15 students who have represented Uganda. Yes. But for us, it's really important that they're not just names and people whose papers we have received and we've sent them off to Nairobi, but that we get to know them on a personal level. What makes Aaron Tamale spark? What makes Sisina Lumansi spark? Where can we, where possible, help and guide her career after she has finished coming out of the Multichoice Talent Factory? What can we do to support? So some of the students, Daisy Masembe and Isiko Abubeka and Pius Talemo and that whole team.
See what I was telling you? She knows all of them by name.
They came up with a company called Gogolo Film Productions, which is great. That's exactly what we want for them to do. And you know, what can we do to support them? Some of the students are actually cast and crew on the different productions that you're seeing on TV.
Yes.
Which is, I mean, this for us, it's very satisfying because at the end of the day, what we want to do is we want to upskill Uganda and use that same upskill to come back into our productions to make them even better. Yeah. I mean, we get people who ask us, do you shoot Prestige in South Africa?
Yes.
Did you shoot it in Nairobi? Where do you guys shoot this? And we keep telling them, everything is done here in Uganda.
Yes.
To the final edit, and then it's just uploaded onto your TVs. Yes. I mean, those are shows which they screen an episode every day. And some of these teams work up to 4 a.m. in the morning. I mean, you might have heard about all of the work that's going into the background. Yes. But we really do applaud all of them, and we're very proud of the outputs.
We're so proud of all of you.
Yeah, we are.
And which brings me to my next question. Oh, my goodness. What power does content bring to the table?
Oh, my God. So first and foremost, representation.
Yes.
Right? So many years back, there was content that we had on our TVs, and there were people who didn't look like us, who didn't speak like us, who didn't tell stories that we resonated to. Yeah. Now you have a film like Engaito. Engaito is a film, by the way, that was shot by Daisy Masembe as well as Isiko Abubeka. Isiko Abubeka from Multichoice Talent Factory wrote the story about his older brother. Yes. That movie, it won an AMVCA award. Ooh. And it won an AMVCA award for the authenticity and how he told the story. And I've chatted to him about this. He let me know that it came out of being back in the village where him and his brother grew up, and his brother going to school and wearing shoes when everyone else in the school was not wearing shoes. And that's where the Engaito film story was built.
Oh, yes, Engaito means shoes.
Yes, it means shoes. But, you know, across the board, for us, it's really, really, really important that someone who is sitting in Masaka, in Mbarara, in Gulu, will watch a show and say, you know what? The accent that this person is speaking in is my accent. It's a Ugandan accent. It is a language that I understand. I'm being represented. So it's, you know, not just representation across the board, but for us as Uganda to show the world what we can do.
Uganda to the world. Yes,
100%, because there's so much that has come out of Uganda of late that is performing so well. Yes. And it is through things like content. Yes. So there are many strides that have been made. There are many strides to be made, but we're happy that where we are is slowly getting us to the end goal, or what we would see as our ideal place to be.
Our utopia. We are coming slowly but slowly, and all is well.
Yeah.
And so now that we are all empowered by the fact that we can make this content and tell our stories, how does one get their stories to MultiChoice?
That's a good question, because I get it a lot. And I get it a lot because there are always people who are saying, I want to submit my content to MultiChoice. should I get on a plane and go all the way to Nairobi? Because our content hub sits in Nairobi.
Yes.
And that is in Nairobi for East Africa. So that is Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, and Ethiopia. No, everything is done online.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's 2022. There's so many solutions for how we can access our content. Simply go into Google, type in Pearl Magic submissions, type in Pearl Magic Prime submissions, or type in Maisha Magic Movies submissions. Yes. Pearl Magic and Pearl Magic Prime normally takes series. Maisha Magic Movies takes movies.
Okay.
So once you type that in, the first page that will come to you will be an Mnet page with the option for you to choose the different channels that we're speaking about. Go in, follow the prompts, put in your name, put in your details. If you have a pilot episode, share your pilot episode with us. So we take content in two ways. We take content by licensing content or by commissioning content.
Okay.
Licensed content, if I put it simply, is like renting your content from you. So, Brandy, if you've put together an amazing
Ugandan podcast,
what we would then do is we would take your podcast, sign an agreement, and say we will show it or we will air it on Pearl Magic every Saturday for the next 2 years. After 2 years, you have the rights to take your content back and give it to whoever else you would like to give it to so that you can make money out of it.
Okay.
The second option is by commissioning content. So commissioning content is, what it looks like is we go out into the Ugandan market, and we do this through those relationships I told you with the film industry, through our social media pages, through wherever it is that we can reach our potential film submitters and content creators.
Agreed.
And we simply let them know we're looking for a sitcom. It needs to be so and so minutes long. It needs to cover this kind of relationship or this kind of dynamic.
Yeah. Or themes. Yeah.
Or theme. And what we look for is we look for concepts.
Yes.
So very much when we go into commissioning, we're looking for like a script, or we're looking for raw content, so to say.
Yes.
And then what happens with our content team is they sit down on a panel, they look at this content, and they make a decision based on what they think will be the best for our viewers, right? So once they have sat down on that panel, then they make the decision. Commissioned content is great for the film industry in Uganda. Shows like Story Yange, if you saw it, Mama and Me, Sanyu, Prestige are commissioned. Yeah. So what that means is we send a certain sum of money to the director of the organization of the show, and we ask them to give us a certain number of episodes within a certain time, and that carries on continuously.
Okay.
Sanyu and Prestige right now are at over 300 episodes. They're in season 3, they're at over 300 episodes, and they started airing in 2021. Yeah. So you can imagine what that means for them. But it also means that in the background, our teams are making sure that everyone on the cast and crew is being treated fairly. So is the makeup artist receiving her pay on time?
Yes.
Are the sound teams being... is there a certain level of professionalism on the set? Because all of those things count in getting the finished product.
That's true.
So we're working, and sometimes we get feedback from the market that the standards that we present are out of this world. But when I tell you that the finished product is worth it, it absolutely is. Brandy.
It really is.
Yeah.
It really is. It is.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that now we know how we can put our content there. So I'm going to bring my podcast for 2 years, and then I take it back.
Yeah, yeah. So that you can make more money out of it.
Yeah, the ministry will have to put that into positive consideration. And before we go any further, what do you like to do in your free time? 3 things.
3 things. I like to work out.
Okay.
I like to spend some time releasing whatever stress it is that I might have carried through the day.
I wonder what
I walk, I do whatever exercise it is that I can find.
Yes.
I like to read books.
Ooh, what's your favorite book?
I don't have a favorite. I just like to read books.
Yeah.
In general, they help me to unwind and kind of turn my mind off everything that's, the day has, whatever the day has looked like. And I'm a couch potato. I really like to watch TV. Yeah. It helps me to unwind. I get to my home, sit down on the couch, get some coffee, get some tea, popcorn, and binge whatever shows it is that I would like to catch.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool. And also when you talked about reading, it's the beauty of reading and watching is that you create a whole space where you can just relax and unwind.
And also the thing about reading is it gives you the chance to kind of make it up in your mind.
Yeah.
This is what I visualize the characters look like. If the set looks like this, then, you're imagining it in your mind. So I really like that.
Okay. That's nice. So how can the government help make this industry better? Yeah. On top of the good.
Yeah. So there's a lot of support. I'm glad you've said on top of the good, because there's a lot of support that we're getting from the government already. Are we there yet? No. Will we be there in 10 years? Probably not, because the needs of the industry will keep changing. They'll keep evolving. So I think it's really about the government supporting us with whatever changes it is that we're coming up with. So, piracy years back would have been considered, getting a VCR. Is that what it was called?
I think.
I might be showing the audience my age now, but a CD, you know what I mean?
Yes.
But now, in the internet age that we're in, it's people going into Google and typing in whatever match it is that they would like to watch and quickly accessing it, right? But in the background, we are there's a lot of work that's going on with the government bodies, your SP, for example. And we're working hand in hand to see what solutions we can bring on board, because that doesn't affect just the pay TV industry. It affects content creators. It affects bodies like UEFA. It affects so many, even yourself, if you go and type in a link, your data is at risk, right? Because someone is online working 24 hours to see what they can do to get like your login passwords. Your children might be on your tablet or on your phone, and then they will get exposed to content that we would not want them to see. Yeah,
you're so
right. Those are things that we need to think about as Ugandans. But there's conversations that are ongoing. My request for the government is that, to continue to give us the support that they're already giving us, and to allow us to evolve with the times, because evolving is a given.
That's true.
Yeah.
At the Ministry of ICT, our leaders always encourage young people to just create, innovate around your skills, around the stuff you can, and then see where that takes you. Because, so I'm glad that this is happening. What problems does pay TV solve as a country? Like in our country, having pay TV, what problems? Give me like 3 problems you've solved when you have pay TV.
Employment.
Not
just from the front of the teams that we work with, our sales teams, the people who are in the background, but the industry, like we've spoken about. The guys who are putting together the shows, but not just the directors, producers, the makeup artists, the people who are in the background delivering them meals. Set design, all of these things, right? So we're definitely solving the problem of employment. We are also taking Uganda to the world, because, many times, in the past, there's a lot of misrepresentation that comes up about our countries, right? And that particularly bothers me, because many times abroad, when people think about Uganda, they might think about a certain leader in the past who, used to you know where I'm going with that. But
don't go there. Let's go.
But now, when people think about Uganda, they think about Ankansime, they think about comedians, they think about Salvador, they think about Ankomo,
Cheptegei.
they think about Cheptegei. there is so much positivity that we're presenting to the world.
Yeah.
And, they think about, the massacre boys, the ones who are online, and the love that people have for them is amazing. That is all as a result of content creation. So definitely we're
I didn't know Odu Paraka until I started watching it on TV. Yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, and I think the third problem that we're solving for Ugandans themselves is for them to see themselves being represented.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. Thank you for solving all these problems in pay TV. So when you see that the account balance for DSTV, Ogo TV has gone up, we are solving some problems. Also, why are these prices abnormal sometimes?
So let me first take you back a little bit to solving problems. So one of the things that we announced at the showcase, which we just concluded, is that SuperSport is going to start airing content in Uganda.
Oh,
yes.
So Owen, I think one of the guys who tells who I don't know the word. I know the word, but I've forgotten the word. Yeah, Owen. So we can have a Luganda version.
Yes.
Someone who.
So that's the representation that I'm talking about. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, and there's a lot of work that's happening in the background as we prepare for that.
Yeah.
But as we go into World Cup, yes, Uganda might not be one of the teams that's going to play. But it's really important that we support Ghana, we support the teams that we know are going to play. And representation across the board. Now, talking about pricing, and that's a good question to bring up. And I think that the Ugandan Podcast is a good place for me to address it as well. So
address away.
So as a business, we have to look into what inflation looks like. If inflation is different right now across the world, but it's also different in Uganda.
Yes.
So what your everyday commodity used to cost in January, or even if we say March, is different than it is right now. And what we do is we normally look into our price outlook and we adjust it for a year period. In the past, we've brought these prices down where the need presented itself. But for this particular year, our price has increased, and the increase took effect on the 1st of September. Yes. But the increase across the board on some of the bouquets, Go TV Lite used to be 13,000 shillings. It's now 14,000 shillings.
Okay.
And so the price increase really depends on the bouquet that you pay for and the content that we know you receive.
Yes.
So, for example, if you're a DSTV Premium customer and you have access to all the Premier League games,
you even have catch up, you record, you rewind, you what?
Yeah. You have access to all of this premium content that we really go above and beyond to make sure that you have. Then your price will have gone from 239,000 to 255,000. So the increase is really dependent on the content that we know you have, but we've done everything that we can as a company to shoulder as much of that cost as we possibly can. Yeah. So. We also have customers who try to make payments and say last month they had chosen to upgrade their bouquet. They normally pay for Compact. Last month they chose to pay for Compact Plus.
Yes.
And what that will do is it will distort your payment, what your payment history looks like. Yeah. So then you might try to pay again for Compact, and you will try and send the same amount, and the system will tell you no. We need to resolve this.
Yes.
But we've done everything as well that we can, and we keep saying this, that just come into our direct messages on our social media pages, give us your smart card number, give us the issue. Your smart card number for us is like your national ID. Yes. So it will give us your phone contacts, it will give us access to your account, we'll be able to tell what bouquet you were on in the past, what bouquet you're on now, how to guide you. And our team, they really try to respond as quickly as we possibly can.
Yes.
Yeah.
As the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance, that also has the Business Process Outsourcing and Innovation Council, we are really proud of what MultiChoice is doing in all those sectors, including the innovation and the digitization of this whole payment process.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we also thank you as you thank us.
Thank you.
Any more words to innovators out there, young people, words of love, hope, encouragement, whatever?
Yes. So, and this especially goes for the young people who are there and are thinking about giving us their content, are thinking about making a living out of film. The opportunities are there. They're there. There are many. They're just getting started. If you look at the trajectory since 2018 till now, we've launched not just 2 channels, but 3 channels if you count Maisha Magic Movies, where Ugandan movies show. Yes. On Honey TV, we've had shows that have featured Ugandans. We're really just getting started because, as you might have heard at the showcase, there's so many shows that we're bringing, in January and in December as we go into the
Take Me Back,
Kansime, which is going which is going to show us the behind the scenes of Kansime's life, how she is as a mother, how she is in the wife role as an entrepreneur. The Junior Club, we are working with VCL Productions.
Oh, yes.
Who is an OG in the industry.
Yes.
And,
that's life, what too.
Exactly. But they really have an understanding for what it means to deliver film and to deliver captivating film. So that's just a sneak peek, because come next year, there's even more that's coming. So if you're there and you're a young person and you have a concept, please do not sit on it. Bring that concept, follow the directions that I've given you on how to submit it. If it's already shot, give it to us. Let's license it. If it's a concept, please be on the lookout for when we call for commissions, because our process is free, it is fair. And by the way, when we receive your content, we sign what we call non-disclosure agreements. So it means that, sometimes we take content and the team looks at it and they say, you know what, for now we're not going to take this show, or take this show back and revise it by doing so and so, and then we will consider it. But regardless, we want you to know that your content is safe with us. Yeah.
Which we talked about safety, and we also talked about piracy. If I have my DSTV mobile and I share my password with one Daniela, is that piracy?
In a way, yes, it is.
Yeah.
And people who have access to DSTV passwords will note that the number of accounts that can stream content has been reduced.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
And that was a tough call that we had to make. But you see it not just with MultiChoice, but many
Netflix,
other
blah blah blah.
Many other content players have faced this problem. Yes. I mean, people are sharing passwords across the board, and the realization to them is not that I'm sharing this cost with my buddy, but that a Philip Luswata, who would be getting money and getting paid for a certain number of views, that money is being taken away from his pocket.
Oh, because all the 3 views are on one account.
Yes. So all those things definitely count as piracy. Yeah.
Please pay your subscriptions and show some love to Ugandan content and create more content, because representation, diversity, and all these things are so much fun and so much developmental and productive to our people. Yeah. And Joan,
yes,
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we have come to the end of this episode.
No, it's been really good. Thank you so much for having me. I think it was a great discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we shall have you again. Will you come?
Absolutely. I'll come.
Will you have our podcast on Multi-choice?
Absolutely.
Okay, we shall go into all this. I've been your host. Please follow us on our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at MYCTUG. And what are your socials?
Our socials are DSTV Uganda, GoTV Uganda across the board. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Please follow them. There's a lot of updates that we share on there.
Yeah.
You will catch a lot of what's happening and what the nitty-gritty is, what the new shows coming are, what, if we might need to let you know about a system glitch so that you can make sure you pay to catch the match that you would like to. So that...
You also post memes over there.
So memes will most probably come from our social media team, and you'll see them on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Not on our social media pages.
I agree. You're the ED hood. Yeah, and also my personal page is Valentine Brandy, and across all platforms. And what is yours?
I operate under the
007. She operates under the DSTV platforms.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us today. You have been awesome, and this has been fun. For God and my country, bye.
Bye.